Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's right, folks. Another year, another decade, another new Ninja Turtles cartoon to talk about. Hey, that's pretty exciting. I think this is the first Ninja Turtles cartoon that is like both straight to streaming. Yeah, so Rise of the TMNT did drop on Nickelodeon, so those came out weekly and they had like an actual run of stuff that they could do. So this new one, based on the newest movie, Mutant Mayhem, which I loved that movie. I talked about it endlessly. A great time. We had our Cowabunga summer last year. It was great to go back and watch all the old Ninja Turtle stuff. I love this property and I love these characters, if you can tell beside me here. I think they're fun and they're cool and they're just so unique and very specific in tone. And this new iteration, it's just great to see that. That movie had so much style and flair going for it. And at the time it got picked up for a sequel movie, it was also announced there was going to be like an in-betweener, television program that you can watch on Paramount Plus. Part of when Paramount wanted to actually like release stuff and not merge with Skydance or whatever. But they were like, we'll get a couple seasons out of like a 2D animated show in this style. You could tell who wanted to return to do the TV show, the kids from Nickelodeon, and specific members of the Mutanimals, and of course Io Debris, she came back. But then you're like, well, I guess we'll just have Splinter talk a specific way because it's easier than recasting Jackie Chan. And we just won't reference certain characters from the movie so we don't have to pay those voice actors or get them to come back. And that's fair. I get that. That's what a TV show does. And just going back to this world. It's been about a year since that movie came out, and now we have a 2D animated show set in that world. And it's a lot of fun. I'm not somebody who advocates for binging television. I am not good at it. I hate sitting down to binge stuff. It just doesn't work for me. It never flows properly. But when I had a night free just to watch some content, I'm like, I really want to check out this show because I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this style translates to 2D. A lot of what made that movie work was the way the animation was just this sketchbook, graffiti, subway artist, New York style. It had so much flair in that aspect. And I do think that can translate very well to 2D. But the way they made it work in just a three-dimensional space almost, it was so much more exciting than I expected it to be. So I knew when this was going to come out, I was like, I have to see what this is about. I know it's probably aimed for a younger demographic, and that's fine. Turtles should be aimed for a younger demographic. I prefer the younger side of Turtles as opposed to the dark and gritty Last Ronin stuff. So I like when it skews younger. So I sat down to watch one episode. I'm like, okay, I don't know how this is going to structure. I know they were saying when they announced it, it's going to be individual episodes where each turtle goes off and does their own thing, but kind of connects to an overarching story. So that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll watch this one, and then I'll come back later to watch the one of Raphael or Michelangelo or whatever. And I literally was sitting there, and I'm like, I could just watch all of this. That's a huge compliment, because I was never bored. I think it looks great. It does really good pacing, and I see how you create it in this context, why it should be on streaming and why it should be released at once. Because it would be really hard to go okay, there's 12 episodes. We kind of broke them down to 2 parts. So the first half's about this story. The second half's about this story. If you were to be week 1, here's the Leonardo one. Week 2, here's the Michelangelo one. Week 3, it's Raphael. Week 4, it's Donatello. Week 5, Origin. Week 6, the final episode that connects them all. That's hard to pace. And I think when you're a kid, that would be very annoying because you're I want to see all the Ninja Turtles together. I have to wait a whole month before I see these brothers even work together again. So releasing it like this, where you can easily just watch the first 6, get that chapter done, and then it's there was 2.5 hours of your life just watching this, and works really well. It flows really perfectly. So while I don't love the binging model, when you have built your show around, we have to set it up so the brothers come back together. You did that pretty good. I do like that. I like that these actors are continuing to have fun with this role. The jokes are still really solid. A lot of jokes really land for me, even though they're kind of skewing towards young. They work well. There's some really good stuff in there. And the animation, it goes into some surprising directions. They really want to play with it, especially when specific characters are giving flashbacks or narration. You see Leonardo's I want to make a comic book about my brother, so he's going to have some comic book aesthetics there. Raphael's is going to be a little more like aggressive, and like I am like this anime hero, and Donatello has like this like 8-bit, 16-bit like video game style to everything going on. And then the way like the characters play with their voices and the way they like make other characters talk for them, it's really interesting. It really feels like teenagers describing a scene that is happening to them that they don't really understand, and then trying to like one-up each other in some aspects. It's really fun and it's really cute. And it goes into some very interesting stuff with the animation. Now, the animation can look very stiff or still, but the aesthetic that it goes for, where it's like this sketchbook, these big lines, everyone's like a unique shape, it makes it look more dynamic than a show like Invincible or Batman Capes Crusader or something where there is stiff animation in there and it doesn't look like anything's happening. They really make it work well here, and it looks so vibrant and really cool, and everyone is given a chance to shine, which is really cool to see. Giving them individual episodes is, it can be hit or miss, and for the most part I think it worked well. The first arc, which is the first 6 episodes, is about these mechazoids, which are like big robots that are chasing the brothers. So each one has like their standalone adventure where they like fight their own robot. How do they defeat it? It all comes together in like a climactic ending there. And then the next part, episodes 7 to 12, are about this flood that kind of like floods New York. And it gives like this new band of mutants. I think they're called like the East River 3 or something. And how each member of like the brothers, along with like a Mighty Mutanimal character, has to like fight against them. So, they're pairing up more stuff. We're getting more mutants in here, which is really cool to see. We're seeing classic characters from the movie return, which is kind of exciting. And again, which voice actors wanted to come back to do that. And you also get to just have more fun. We do expand the world a little bit with like characters you are familiar with from Ninja Turtles lore. Some of them new faces, some of them old faces, just reinventions for characters that you love to see, and all of it works well. I'm like, hey, this is a great interpretation of this character. I've always been a fan of like the Purple Dragons, so the episode of Raph and the Purple Dragons was really funny to me. Pete Davidson's in this for the first arc, and I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. It's really fun. Like, it's so good and it's so unique, and it stands apart from other interpretations of the Ninja Turtles, especially in like the animated series, because it is just skewing towards this generation. Like, these characters, they think about stuff and they act accordingly. Like, this is how they would feel in a situation like this. They want to be tough or strong or whatever, but they've only known a life with their brothers. So when they're like on their own or like with their like dad's girlfriend or something, you have to like do things differently. I think it works really well, and maybe a little bit you can hear some of these kids going through adolescence and growing up to puberty, just this slightly. I notice it a lot more in some of the stuff with Donatello, like the voice actor. I think it's Micah Abbey that's Donatello. You notice it a little bit of him. I think he was the youngest though, but it's just really fun. I have a great time. Like, I was smiling, and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what this show needed to be. It is wholly of this new Mutant Mayhem universe. It is doing something really cool with its animation. It's got the right actors and vibe. It's doing modern references and modern jokes, and that's kind of what this show needed it to be. I really appreciate it. I think it's doing something incredibly fun with this property. I like what we're doing here. It is 12 episodes. It is broken into 2 parts, where it's like big robots from a character with a name you might recognize, and then mutants doing something during a flood. So you got both those arcs. I'd imagine we'd get more. I think we'd get more. That'd be really cool if we did. It's really unique. I'm having a great time with it. And I would encourage you all to watch it. It's great for little kids, but even if you just want more Ninja Turtle content, you could do worse. Now, is it the best animated series? Hard to say, but when most of them have been pretty good, this one's no slouch. So, Tales of the TMNT Season 1. I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Cowabunga, dude.